This is a second part of a video for our TinkerHome showing us how to create the elements for a home. In my last video, we showed you guys how to make the basic home, put our roof on it, made like a little covered porch. I think this might be my side porch or maybe a carport, something like that. Haven't quite figured out yet. But what you're going to do now is you're going to figure out where your front door's back door is. Real important, if you want to, you can group the shapes together, but this is not going to be printed, so we don't have to group everything together. What that'll allow us to do by not grouping them is keep our shapes the colors that we want. And so that's going to come in handy when, like for right now, I'm going to make my door. So for my door, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change the color of this by clicking on the model, and I want to make a nice blue door. And so my door is only going to need to be, if you remember, the width of my wall was 5. So I'm going to make the width of my model here. Let's see here. We're going to make the width of it 5 millimeters. And I'm going to make my door here just to be a little wider. And so I want to have a nice double door, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my door on the front here. So now when I've got my door here, so if I look at this and I scroll around and I can zoom in to the model, I can see that my door is connected, sticking out a little bit, which is okay. If I wanted to, I can make sure I move it further in. If I change my grid to 0.1 millimeter and I use my arrow keys, I can move, I click on the shape, I can move it back uh, 1/10 of a millimeter each time to get it so that it's right where it needs to be. So that is a solid door there. So there is my door. Now what I would also do is put, so you can't really, you don't want to draw a line or anything like that, but what I could do is make another one if I wanted to add another box here. And I'm going to make this box because I'm going to put a line right through this to make my model. So I'm going to make this 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter, right? So that's just going to be nice. And I got to look at and see, okay, this one's 20 millimeters tall. This one is 20 millimeters tall. I'm going to put this right into the middle of my door. Now, if I wanted to see how, if it was centered, remember again, I used my alignment tool. So I want to make it so I got like a double door here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a box. Real important that you only touch the ones that you're wanting to do that you want to have modeled. Now, if I don't know if I'm getting it or not, one way to do this is pull these models out, right? So now I know I've just got these two. So I'm going to put this one back into my door here. So I know I've got the door. I select just these two. I hit the alignment, and right here I can hit there. It's aligned to the middle, and it's aligned to the front. And I want to actually move this out just a little bit. So I'm going to click on this off of this, click on that one, and I want to move it out just a hair so that it sticks. So now that I've got those, what I can do is I can grab both of those and move those in and put my door back in. So now I've got a nice looking patio door for my home. Also going to show you how we're going to do our grass or those kinds of things. Grass, you can add in different elements or different things that you've got. One of the things that's really neat is you can go into the part collections to see what kind of shapes are out there. Shape generators, we can look at all of the shapes that are here. I have there's brick walls. So if you want to add brick walls to your home, you can add brick walls to your home. We can add all kinds of different things to this home to get the elements that you need for it. Grass, if I want to add grass, I just add a nice, I'm going to go back to my basic shapes here to show you guys. And I can add just, make my grass nice and low here. Obviously my grass, I would want it to be a green grass. And I could put, this is going to be kind of my front yard here. And I set up what do I want my front yard to look like. Now the next thing I need to do is put a fence around my home. So to build a fence, again, you can decide what is it that you want your fence made out of. Your copy and paste tool is going to be super important for you here. And so here's kind of how we're going to do this. So let's say I'm going to make a real small fence. So I'm going to shrink this down so that this is going to be a super small. And I'm going to bring this down here like this. So that's going to be my fence. I'm going to bring this sphere and I want to shrink this way down. So I'm going to make a all right, now what I can do is zoom in on my model to see what we've got here. And if you look at this, this is, I'm going to shrink that up just a little bit here. Let's shrink him down some more. I'm going to circle around and see here. Oh, let's see what I got here. Oh, I got to make him a little wider. All right, so now what I want to do, grab the black that looks like a Christmas tree, and that's how you change your elevation to move it. And what I'm going to do is move this over to my fence here. So I got to grab this. Oh, I don't want to do that. Grab my model. I'm going to move it and set it on top. Now, this is super important. So I look at this. So I click off of this. Look at it. It looks like it's good. But oh, look, when I rotate around, I'm not even touching it. So when I look at it from this angle, I'm like, oh, it's on. It's perfect. But when I come down here, it's not. So what we want to do is use the shift key in your right dragging to change where you're going. And we're going to connect these two together. And this is where the time comes in to get the shape. So we know what we're doing here. Oh, okay. So you can kind of see, if you see underneath it, there's a little blue rectangle. See that blue rectangle that's right underneath of all that? Shows you kind of spatially where you're going to be. So now that I've got it here, I can see where I need to be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one over just a little bit so that my fence is connected. And I'm going to zoom in here and let's see what this looks like from the back angle. Well, let me move this. Let's move this down just a little bit. And I'm going to move this over just a hair. All right, there it is. All right, so when I get this, I'm going to group these two together so I know I've got my model. So I've got those two grouped together. And now what I can do is I can place this for my fence here. That's what I want my fence to look like. And here's where you get to do your duplicate. Control C and then Control V. Use your left arrow and it'll track along there. If you hold it down, it'll get to where you want it to be. Control C, Control V. Left arrow to drag it down. Control C, Control V. Control V again. Control V again. And so on and so forth. Control V again. And I can get this. Now, if I really wanted to make this to be something spectacular, once I get like a bunch of them in a line, what I can do here then is I can drag, oh, I don't want to drag that. I turn my camera so that I see just what I'm looking for. And if I draw a box, I can select just the ones I want to select. So if I want to do a 4 of them, I can do Control C, Control V, and now I have 4 pieces of fence that I can move and rotate. Right now, again, my grid is set at 0.1 millimeters, so it's going to move very slowly. But if you change that to 1 millimeter, I can get a much faster movement if I wanted to do that. There's additional elements for your TinkerHome Part 2.